Welcome back to the Shred the Spread podcast, your host for NFL sports betting. I know you guys were expecting my man Jared, my right-hand man, taking over the host. But guess what? It's host Dynell crashing the party here for the Shred the Spread podcast. I'm going to get you guys hooked up. Let's lock in this week. I was looking at the lines. Right now, we currently don't have the contest lines at the moment, so I'll be basing all my picks and leans and everything off of FanDuel Sportsbook, just to play it out right. Guys, get your shovels, guys. I need you to start digging with me. I am without my right-hand man, Jared. The lines were so bad last week. It was so ugly and so stomach gut-wrenching. He had to take a day off, man. He got so goddamn sick from last week. We had to take a day off. But with his sacrifice, we went 4-1 on the contest this week. Another winning week. A gut-wrenching one busted leg that cost us the 5-0 week. But, guys, we're in the money each and every week. And you know what that means? Vegas, bring me my money. Now, with that being said, grab your motherfucking shovels and let's get to digging.
All right, here we go. So, in all likelihood, Deshaun Jackson's going to at least get a return. Deshaun Jackson gets a block. Are you kidding? Way downtown. Is a disgusting act by Randy Moss.
Leading off our Week 10 slate, of course, is the primetime Thursday night game down in the cold, windy city of Chicago. It's going to be the Carolina Panthers going against the Chicago Bears. The line is set at 3 in favor of the Chicago Bears. This is going to be, like I said, this won't be part of our contest picks anyway, so I'm going to give you kind of like a brief description. How I kind of see it, I mean, the Panthers defense is still pretty decent. You're talking about a game where you're against two bad teams. Bryce Young continues to have those rookie pains, showing improvement, but continues to have those rookie pains. But on the other side, you have a D2 quarterback in Tyler Bagley, I'm pretty sure what his name is. I guess I'll get his name correctly shortly. But they're in the same boat. These are two teams in the same boat. Both defenses came to life these past couple of weeks. This is kind of one of those toss-ups, flip a coin. For me, you kind of have to take the points here and lean towards the favor of the Carolina Panthers, strictly because you got to take the points. And at the end of the day, man, if you tell me who I'm going to take between Bryce Young and the Bears quarterback, Tyler Badgley, you best believe I'm taking Bryce Young. So this, to me, take the lean, take the +3, and just run. Please, close your eyes and just run. And for our next game, we got to take a trip and slide out to Germany for an early 9:30 affair once again. It is going to be a neutral site, of course, but the Colts going against the New England Patriots. The line set at 1.5 in favor of the Colts, and I'm baffled. I am very baffled. Why is the line at 1.5 when I feel like this should be a line at 2.5, maybe even 3, touching 3? And I want to put it like this. The Colts in the last 3 games has averaged 27 points. The Patriots, on the other hand, in the last 3 games put up 17, and an absolute abnormal performance against Josh Allen and the Bills, who just can't seem to get right in the AFC East, to be honest with you. They put up 29, but the game before that, guess how many points the Patriots put up? 17. The same mediocre 17 points they put up against the Commanders. So what are we talking about here? This Shane Steichen offense continues to move the ball downfield in any which way, and it's not even having big games from the quarterback. It's just bits and pieces of the running game, a little bit of flash plays here and there to kind of get that passing game going, just enough to where it has put up over 20 points every game so far in the last 3. I don't see how you don't take the Colts here. Like you said, like this is just leans and stuff like that. I'll go more into detail, more into research, but my early lean is -1.5 Colts all day. I get that Josh Downs is in question. He's questionable, but this offense should be able to take over and take off against this Patriots team who, honestly, I don't see putting up more than 17 points, as history shows. The next game is our first 1 o'clock game, and we're going to have the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. The line is set at 3 in favor of the 49ers. So this is going to be one of those tricky games here, and I'm going to tell you why. The 49ers, before they went in a bye, struggled mightily the last 2 weeks, putting up 17 points per game the last 2 games for the bye. And then you got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who continue to just show you promise, continue to show you consistency, especially defensively. They have been a great defensive team these past few weeks. Doug Peterson got them boys rolling, and we get it. I'm not saying I have complete faith in the Jacksonville Jaguars offense, but that defense has been very, very stout. Brock Purdy has been looking shoddy at best playing quarterback. I really never thought Brock Purdy was elite anyway. I always thought that the first 5 games when they averaged 30 points, it was kind of like a fluke. I wouldn't say a fluke, but more of like that's not going to last long whatsoever. And they proved me right. And like you said, that loss against the Vikings a couple of weeks ago, that was definitely gut-wrenching and an eye-opener for me, let alone you give up 22 points. But then you come back and you put up 17 on top of that, and you're supposed to be a top-renowned offense with Kittle, with Deebo Samuel, with Brandon Ayuk, with Christian McCaffrey. Something's got to change here. Now, granted, here's what I will say. I'm leaning more towards the Jaguar side. For the contest, of course, it's by half-point spread, so I would honestly think they'll lean more towards the 2.5 side more than the 3.5 side. But honestly, man, the way this Jacksonville Jaguars team's been playing, the defense has been rolling, you got to go with the team that's hot. That Chase Young trade for the 49ers is definitely a big splash trade, but I feel like that's going to pay off a little bit later on to the season. The thing about Chase Young is his discipline. His discipline has cost a lot of running lanes, have cost a lot of lanes for the quarterback to kind of step up into the pocket and move a little bit. And honestly, I feel like that plays a lot into their favor. So you best believe I gotta lean with the Jacksonville Jaguars here, especially with Trevor Lawrence's mobility being a factor here. So honestly, if you want to do a prop, look at Trevor Lawrence rushing yards there. Next off, our next game, we have the New Orleans Saints traveling to Minnesota to play the Vikings. And wow, guys, can you believe the Minnesota Vikings there? Granted, I get it. Arthur Smith choke job. They're playing Atlanta. But let's be honest. Did we expect Atlanta to give up 31 points to that Minnesota Vikings team last week? Now, granted, Joshua Dobbs didn't start. He came in for injury relief in the first quarter. But man, he just got there Tuesday. In a matter of 4 to 5 days with the limited play calls and offense, he led this Minnesota Vikings team to a thrilling win, and honestly, to stay within the division, guys. I mean, they're not off this division. We get it. The Lions, we expect the Lions to kind of run away at 6-2 right now, but the Vikings are still hanging in there, at least for a playoff spot. And one thing about Joshua Dobbs is going to give you his all 100% of the time. He's just 100% a gamer. The stats aren't going to, wow you. But man, he knows what it takes to go out there and sustain a drive to win a game. And I mean, guys, this Vikings team, man, wow. I mean, they have really surprised me a lot this week. And they're going against a Saints team who are traveling to Minnesota, one, which is that they don't have a dome factor there. That's one. And two, this offense for the Saints will show up and it disappear. Show up and disappear. And when you got inconsistency going on like that with a team who's honestly just going off of just straight fire, just straight the fact that, man, my quarterback's been hurt, Justin Jefferson's been hurt, but man, they just been getting fuel after fuel in the fire. Jordan Addison's been showing up. Hawkinson's been showing up. And with Joshua Dobbs playing quarterback for them, honestly, since Kirk Cousins has been hurt, I thought their season was done. But with Joshua Dobbs there, it makes me feel a little bit different for their chances. I'm going to actually take the plus 2.5 here. Like I said, I didn't bring this up early, but it was the 2.5 point favorites in favor of the New Orleans Saints. But like I said, the Saints' inconsistency too much times. Like I said, it's something I'm going to have to review later on throughout the week. But if anything, I'm leaning towards the Vikings, considering the fact that Joshua Dobbs is a gamer. They're hot. They're rolling right now. And the Saints just continue to show inconsistencies. And I can't really bank on the Saints. For the next game, we're going traveling to Tampa Bay in the sunshine and sunlight. Tom Brady's not there, but boy, Baker Mayfield's out there putting up numbers last week. It's going to be the Tennessee Titans going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in favor, 1.5 point favors in favor of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And also, this is another game where I'm a little bit stumped on. The Buccaneers showed out against the Texas defense last week. And granted, we get it's the Houston Texans, all right, we get it, but their defense aren't no slouches. There aren't no slouches, man. Baker Mayfield put on a hell of a performance. And honestly, like I said last week, I've seen this Buccaneers offense have some sort of explosion For this Titans team right now, I don't see it. I honestly don't see it, and I get it. Mike Vrabel, Tennessee Titans, a dog, but they're not at home. They're traveling to Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield in this offense was hot last week, and it's going to be hard to contain them. It's going to be very, very hard to contain them. Tennessee just passing game is subpar at best. The running game is marginal. Granted, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers barely run the ball anyway, but you got to give it. For me, you have to lean Tampa Bay here, And like I said, this is why I wish I had Jared for me, because Jared keeps me grounded, and sometimes I got to make sure with this type of stuff, man. But at the end of the day, man, guys, what are we talking about here? At home, Tampa Bay, -1.5. Basically, that's, to me, honestly, when I do 1.5, they're basically pick'ems at this point. Against the Tennessee team that's with a rookie quarterback. And we always say, rookie quarterback on the road, and you're going to give me a 1.5, you best believe I'm leaning Tampa Bay here. So there's nothing else to talk about. Let's move on to, honestly, for me, one of the games of the week. A tough divisional matchup in a division that is separated by one game, 1 through 4, and that is the AFC North. And we're going to bring up the Cleveland Browns traveling to Baltimore. That is an interesting game. The point is set at 6 points in favor of the Ravens, of course, because the Ravens have been absolutely fucking dominating any team in their path. But let's pump the brakes, guys. Let's not forget this Cleveland Browns defense. It has been the number one defense majority of the year. They continue to show out each and every week. Guys, you're giving the Cleveland Browns defense at this point 6 points, and I get it. Lamar Jackson and his offense have been rolling, dropping points against the Lions, dropping points last week against the Seattle Seahawks. And I know we had the Seattle Seahawks +6 last week. We told y'all not to take it. Like I said, the matchup and the numbers clearly showed in favor of the Ravens against the Seahawks here, but not so much against this Brown team. I feel like this is hella inflated. This is a division game on top of that, guys. And we know how tough and gritty they get. Listen, you giving the Browns +6 right now? Wow. Still, in week 10, my early read, of course, got to be the Browns +6. Now moving on to the next game here. The Houston Texans traveling to Cincinnati to face Smoking Joe and the Bengals. The line is set at 6.5 in favor of the Bengals. Hold on now. 6.5? And I get that Joe Burrow and them boys are back a little bit and they're healthy. T. Higgins got involved. They put up 24 points last week. But hold on, guys. This Houston Texans team ain't no slouch. Just when you thought the game was over and the +3 was going to cover with no sweat, here comes rookie C.J. Stroud breaking the single game passing yards record, goes down in 38 seconds and 2 timeouts to win the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That game was absolutely exhilarating, but that speaks to the testament of this team, of this Houston Texans team. They will fight. They will fight for Coach DeMeco Ryans, no matter what the lead is, no matter how many points they give up. They just continue to show resiliency. And this team is just very, very special. This team is very, very special. And they got a bright future coming down the line. I feel like right now, the way this offense is rolling right now, and the way this defense has been playing, now granted, like I said, they had a rough week last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But let's be honest, man. You're giving a team who, granted, with a rookie on the road, like I said, all things I point to the sign, but 6.5 is steep. This Cincinnati team has not shown to me that they can capability of just blowing a team out the water. So you're telling me on a team that, like I said, this team fights hard. They definitely stay within games. And honestly, I can't see them. It's more of I can't see the Houston Texans losing right now by 6.5 points more than I can see Cincinnati laying out 6.5 points against the Texans. So right now, my early read got to be Texans. C.J. Stroud continues to perform and continues to show out. Joe Burrow is back. Like I said, I really feel like they're going to win this game and they're going to stay in pace with the Ravens in that division. But I got to give the 6.5 points to the Texans here, man. We finally got the value back after being taken away from us from early in the season. So yeah, Texans 6.5 all day. The next game of our slate is the Green Bay Packers traveling to Pittsburgh to face those terrible Tau Steelers. The line is set at 3 in favor of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm stuck. I am very literally stuck here between the two. I feel like Vegas hit the number on the ball, man. Like it's really tough to kind of gauge this at 3 points. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the offense looks shitty. We get it. Matt Canada should be fired, but for somehow, some way, they're fucking 5-3. They're fucking 5-3, and their defense continues to keep them in games by forcing turnovers, good field position, and what that and whatnot. And the Green Bay Packers, like I said, they're up and down, topsy-turvy. They had a kind of a cakewalk against the Los Angeles Rams without Matthew Stafford. I mean, big whoops there. And Jordan Love still got to show me something. He still has a lot to show me before I can take the 3 points. But let's be honest, this Pittsburgh Steelers offense got a lot to show me too. Deontay Johnson just scored his first touchdown in 2 years, 600 and something amount of days. And then right now with the drama going on with George Pickens right now, just walking off the field, I think he had like negative receiving yards that game right now. There is a little stigma going on with that Pittsburgh Steelers locker room. But they do have a man at the helm by the name of Mike Tomlin who just continued to just find ways to win. This is a tough game to call. I would likely pass on this. To me, this is not a contest play. This is two ugly teams, a 3-point spread. What are we talking about here? If anything, I would lean Pittsburgh Steelers considering the fact they're at home in Pittsburgh. But nah, I would stay away from this game with a 10-foot pole. Next up, it's the Atlanta Choke Jobs traveling to Arizona, where Kyler Murray is finally back at practice, and I think he's going to suit up and play. The line is set at 1.5 in favor of the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, guys, look what we've come to. We have come to now where the Atlanta Falcons are 1.5 favorites to the Arizona Cardinals. And the Arizona Cardinals have been, Vegas have been giving them points left and right. 6.5, 7.5, 3 here. I think the lowest one was 3.5, and that was against the New York Giants. You know, they give the Arizona Cardinals more points than I can count. And we're at 1.5 right now. That just lets you know the direction of the Atlanta Falcons right now. That loss last week was completely inexcusable. As a matter of fact, fuck this shit. Matter of fact, Arthur Smith, come here. And Jared, I'm sorry. Cause I know you work for his pops because his pops owns FedEx and whatnot. But Arthur Smith, you're in the dungeon, bro. Come in here. Go ahead and sit next to Ron Rivera and sit next to, Josh McDaniels ain't there no more, so you ain't sitting next to him. But sit next to him and Brandon Staley, man. Cause what's going on? What is going on right now? You lost to the Minnesota Vikings team without their number one receiver and without their first and second string quarterback. Granted, Joshua Dobbs was going to be the second string quarterback, but off of forced days, there's a reason why they went with the rookie quarterback that got hurt earlier in the game. You lost to Joshua Dobbs and gave up 31 to this Minnesota Vikings offense. What the fuck are we talking about? What the hell is going on in Atlanta? Because that's the question we need to be going on. Bijan Robinson, continue. See, guys, this is what really boggles me. And this early in the season, before the season even started, I brought up the fact that I don't get what the Atlanta Falcons do. They draft first-round picks as in Drake London and Kyle Pitts and rarely utilize them. They drafted Bijan Robinson, who looks great starting out the season. But what the hell is up with his utilization? What the hell is going on in Atlanta? Who's calling the shots? I am baffled on what the game plan is every week. I am baffled at the fact that I can't count on Bijan Robinson every week because he's that special of a talent. What's going on? And then your defense gives up 31 points to the Minnesota Vikings without Kirk Cousins and the second string quarterback at the time. And you lost and you gave up 31 points to a quarterback who was there within the system for 4 days. Nah, I can't let this fly. I'm not touching this game. You know, I would honestly lean Atlanta Falcons here, but I made the mistake last week, personally, not in the contest, but personally, I took them easy. I said, okay, I'm going to adjust the line to 2.5 and they should cover. Nope. They let a lot of people down last week, and honestly, I can't avoid a letdown here, man. This is a stay away game. This is a stay away game for me. I wouldn't touch this at all. But honestly, with my expectation, I would lean Atlanta Falcons here. I would lean Atlanta Falcons, but I wouldn't count out Kyler Murray right now. I know Kyler Murray's coming off of his first game off of an injury, but they finally have talent back again at the quarterback position. And with Marquise Hollywood-Brown, I know he's been waiting for Kyler Murray to come back. So we get ready. So peep an explosion for Marquise Brown, because he definitely was his top target last year. And yeah, man, just sit back and watch this game. Just enjoy the game, and then we'll see if Arthur Smith can turn it around, or he continue to do a shit show, do a shit job, and have his job in question. The next game is our second 4 o'clock game. So I'm sorry. The last game was the first 4 o'clock game. The second 4 o'clock game we have here is the Detroit Lions traveling to Los Angeles to face the Chargers. The line is set at 3. If I'm thinking right, and I'm thinking I'm in their shoes, I'm thinking I'm in the contest. I'm trying to think of where it would lean for the contest line. If anything, I would say it would lean more 3.5 in favor of the Lions instead of -2.5. But let's be honest here. I can't take +3 with the Chargers any day as long as Brandon Staley's the coach there. That motherfucker makes as much as dumb fucking calls as I can fucking call it. So dumb that the motherfucker really called offensive play on 4th down, 4th and short on their side of the field, turned the ball over twice, got bailed out both times. And you're going against a Detroit Lions team. Granted, they're not in the dome. We get it. You take the fish out the fish bowl, as in what we're talking about with Jared Goff, and you get a disaster. But the temperature's gonna be nice and warm here. You get what I'm saying to you? And Jared Goff did play in Los Angeles. Let's not forget about that. He did play in Los Angeles. You're giving me a quarterback who, yes, doesn't perform outside the dome, but you put him in good weather, and you give him -3 with the offensive potential behind them against a Los Angeles Chargers team who just one thing they don't know how to do is win. Now, granted, they do keep things competitive, and that's why I'm kind of going to stay off of this game here. It might be a play in the future. Who knows? But for right now, with me not knowing the line and everything like that, I can't. You know me. Like I said earlier, I can't take Brandon Staley plus anything or anything. The next game we have on the slate is, oh boy, well, ain't really much to talk about here, is the New York Football Giants going against the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. 16.5 point. This line is at 16.5 points, and I don't need to say who this is favored. Don't touch this. Why in your right mind would you touch this? Now, granted, if you do touch this, you got to take the +16.5, bro. That's 16. That's almost 17 points. That's 2 touchdowns in a field goal that we have to lose this. But I want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, man. Like, who is the quarterback? Is Tyrod Taylor going to be back? Who knows? If he's not, is Tommy DeVito going to go back out there? We saw what happened with Tommy DeVito. The motherfucker had -9 passing yards to end the game. What the fuck are we talking about? Please, guys, do yourself a favor. Don't touch this game. Take this advice from your good old friend Dynell. Do not touch this game. Normally, I would say I wouldn't touch this game and let everybody else to make a decision for it. But please, unless you really have great faith, unless you're a Giants fan, you're not putting +16.5, bro. Like, unless you really just got to take the points. If you bet this game, you're taking the points. You're not laying 16.5 unless you're a Cowboys fan who's high on fucking air right now, who lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, come on now. Don't take that. You can't take that. So with that being said, on to the next game is the last 4 o'clock game on the slate. The Washington Commanders traveling to Seattle, the 12th man, to play the Seattle Seahawks. The line is set at 6 in favor of the Seahawks. Now, if I am the contest line and doing by half points, and I know I haven't done this for every game, but I would pretty sure I would be leaning more towards the if you want to think about it, public perception, I would say 5.5. More say only because the fact that the Commanders are still the Commanders, and the Seattle Seahawks did go against a fucking freight train in the Baltimore Ravens, and this Commanders team gives up big plays more than any team in, well, I won't say more than any team in the league, but just about more than any team in the league. The Patriots, out of all teams, had a big play against the Commanders last week with Ramondre Stevenson. They only put up 17 points, and that was the only big run they had. But once again, exposure to big plays will plague this team. Emmanuel Forbes, the rookie who got benched for 3 weeks of the year and came back, he showed out against the Patriots. Yeah, it is Mac Jones and the Patriots receivers, but he did come back, show out. This is going to be a little bit of a taller task going against Geno Smith on the outside against DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. And then alongside that, Kenneth Murray is running the ball. And yes, since the trade, I'm projecting the run defense to be better, considering the fact that the discipline is going to be there with Casey Toohill and James Smith-Williams. But honestly, guys, I mean, they're definitely exposed more than anything. Now, here's what I will say. I personally like the Commanders +6, considering the fact that we can put up points, man. Sam Howell's looking like the real deal. I have to give him credit. With that O-line looking the way it did early in the season, and granted, it has definitely looked a whole lot better just replacing Nick Gates' bitch ass. You put fucking Ted Larson out there. You don't know who the fuck that is. Well, I personally do, but I know nobody knows who the fuck that is. And now this O-line looks like, wow, shit, he actually has fucking time a little bit. Damn. And with that being said, I don't see this Seattle team putting OD pressure on it now. Now, I know it was 1 week. I know it's been 2 weeks. The Commanders' O-line has looked good for 2 weeks, but knock on wood, I don't see the Seattle Seahawks team putting a lot of pressure on Sam Howell with that D-line at least. But I've seen funnier things before. The fucking New York Giants came in the week with 5 sacks against the Commanders and ended up with 10 or 11. So anything can happen. But honestly, more than anything, I would lean more towards the +6. I know Jared would not let me do this as a contest play, so that's dead in the water. But I don't blame him. The Commanders show too much inconsistencies and the turnovers in the wrong times that can lead to a double-digit performance, especially off of a Seattle Seahawks loss. They got embarrassed last week by the Baltimore Ravens. They're going to come up with some fire. I would lean more towards the +6. Like I said, Commanders' pass defense has gotten better, but let's be honest, with those weapons on the outside, you expect a little bit more of an inflated numbers for the Seattle Seahawks there. So that's my lean, and I'll go on to the first primetime game, Sunday night football. Well, technically the second primetime game if you want to count Thursday. But this Sunday night game, we have the New York Jets traveling to Las Vegas to face the newly rejuvenated Raiders. Now, guys, y'all know how I felt about Josh McDaniels. We're an anti-Raiders podcast, 100%. I'm sorry, an anti-Josh McDaniels podcast here, and he's finally gone. Did you guys see the difference last week and how that team played? Granted, it was against the Giants, but wow. I called it. They won by double digits. Man. And they're going to be a team not to watch, but an intriguing team to keep an eye on. The Raiders last year had the similar situation. John Gruden got fired in the middle of the season. It was complete turmoil. And I forgot the first name, but Coach Bisaccia came in as an interim coach and led that team to the playoffs along with Derek Carr. So let's not take credit away. Derek Carr did help a lot of that and ease a lot of that. He deserves a lot of credit for that, for them to come back and have that performance not last year, but 2 years ago. But this is a new feel. This is a new feel for Las Vegas. I just love the energy. Sometimes players need energy. Sometimes players need a coach who's going to be able to understand that morale is a big thing. And Antonio Pierce got them boys ready to run through a wall for him. And it showed last week. It really, really showed last week. And this is a Jets team who just got, once again, embarrassed. Zach Wilson is the other team's It's the same story. And we're about to watch these motherfuckers go prime time again to probably put up, 13 points? 16? So here's what I will say. I don't have a lean. Well, I have a lean. I have a heavy lean on the Raiders here, especially when the line is only especially when you get the Raiders +1 here against the Jets. Come on. Like I said, it's a lean. It's a lean because, the Jets, you still can see the Jets winning this game. There's still a route for this Jets to win this game. And I'll talk with Jared with this. But, man, I am loving Raiders +1. And once again, I feel like they're going to outright win this game. The energy is just different, man. When Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, and all them, they're just moving with a different type of swagger now. Hunter Renfrow came out and said, we don't have to walk on eggshells anymore. This team is free and unleashed, and there's nothing more scarier than a team that feels free and finally be able to unleash what they believe they can believe and they show out. So with that being said, Aidan O'Connor is still your quarterback. That's some questions there, but I'm gonna be honest, guys. I'm actually really, really liking the Raiders here at home with their new head coach Antonio Pierce, man. I just feel like they got newfound energy. And now for the last and final primetime game, Monday Night Football. It's going to be the Denver Broncos. It's going to be Russell Wilson. Let's ride. And the Denver Broncos going against the Josh Allen-led Buffalo Bills. And wow, where do you go here? The line is set at 7.5 in favor of the Buffalo Bills, of course. And don't fall for the trap. I feel like this is a stay away game. I feel like the public perception of the Broncos beating the Chiefs 2 weeks ago and basically beating them by double digits. I think the Chiefs had 9 points. It was like 21-9. Let's be real. All right. This Broncos team has definitely gotten better, and I can definitely see the improvements. But I still don't believe in them. I don't believe in it. Russell Wilson has looked tremendously better from last year. His offense looks somewhat put together, at least. But I still don't trust his defense. I get they have Pat Surtain, but I still have a little bit of trust issues early on from the way this team has played, from this Denver Broncos team has played on defense. Josh Allen has been struggling. struggling to say to put it mild. Let's put it mildly. He's been struggling to his standards, and I can't, like, there's no way in the world right now I can take Josh Allen's points at 7.5 right now at any given time, especially when they lost to the Patriots just 3 weeks ago. They lost to the Jets. You know what I'm saying? Losing to those bad teams like that, I feel like this is a setup game for them, and they play up the competition really, really well, but man, they sure as hell play down. They sure as hell play down the competition. This is a stay away game for me. If anything, I can't believe I'm saying this. If anything, I would lean more towards Denver Broncos plus 7.5. I just feel like Russ and them got it enough to the point where they can manufacture a good amount of points, 21 maybe, and the Buffalo Bills, like, you talk about inconsistency, they're just as inconsistent as any team in the league right now. And like I said, man, I can't confidently say, hey man, the Buffalo Bills are going to beat the Broncos by 8. But like I said, granted, they're at home. Home cooking is always a good remedy, especially when you're in Buffalo with Bills Mafia behind you. But my best bet is to stay away from this game. But yeah, if anything, leaning more towards the Broncos plus 7.5. And with that being said, that's going to wrap up the Week 10 slate of NFL games. All 14 games cover for you from your boy Dynell. And I gotta say, I got a good feeling about this week. I have a little bit more of a better feeling than I did last week. I guess my favorite two leans right now would definitely be the Raiders. Funny enough, me and Jerry are gonna definitely have to talk about that. And to be honest with you, the Buccaneers at home against the Titans, -1.5. I feel like that's a little bit too low. Right now, that's this is the early leans, so anything can change. Injury reports, all that type of stuff happens. So make sure you tune in live. Make sure you tune in and you follow our Twitter page at Shred the Spread. And next time, in the next podcast, your one and only host will be back Friday. Like you said, man, he was a little bit down this kind of week. Like I said, last week's sleep kind of warmed the fuck out. But he's going to come back fresh, and he's going to drop some bombs for us coming in for this next Friday episode with me. So make sure y'all stay tuned in. Until next time, peace.